So why would you want to build a drum machine in Ableton? On this channel here we have Drum Rack. It's a perfectly useful utility. Allows you to put in instruments, to put in samples, to add effects to them. Here you can see all in this bus. You have macros you can control them with. 16 why would you not be satisfied with that? Well, at some point, and I'll give you an example here, if we look at the kick, I've mapped the kick pitch and the kick envelope, and I've mapped the snare decay and the snare tune here. But if I switch between the instruments, snare, kick, I don't get any extra macros. That's the first thing. I'm stuck with a 16, so everything I want to put into my chain has to be handled with these 16 macros. The second thing, it can become quite large, the chain, and you lose the overview. It doesn't really behave like an instrument in that respect. So I tried to build something which would behave more like an instrument that you could play, manipulate, and I'll show you what I came up with. We can get rid of this drum rack here. We have a kick here, and these channels repeat themselves. So kick, snare, hi-hat, FM. I have a submix where they all go into. On the submix I have the compressor, a limiter, and a looper if I want to capture audio. I also have sends for reverb and delay here, and it's a playground effectively. Here's the kick. They're all built the same. They all have one instrument. They're all using these DS. Let's have a look at those. The standard Ableton drum synthesizers, the kick, hi-hat. They all have a drum bus, and they all have an EQ at the end. Identical, just the instruments are switched out. The advantage of this is, if we take a look here, we can assign 16 macros to just one instrument. So I can take my kick and I can add to it enhance it effectively with a drum bus and not lose the overview. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the first 6 macros of all of these instruments, all of these channels are mapped to the Ableton drum synthesizer. The remaining macros are mapped to the controls of the drum bus, allow me to control the drum bus. I don't map the EQ3 because I'm out of macros, but once I fold it up, I have an overview which I can work with. Give an example. Let's have a listen to a drum. Here's the original kick from the Ableton DS kick. Here it is with some crunch and some various effects on it, some drive, and as I say, you can create these kicks at your will. Different drive types. You can do this all from one interface, so you can build your sound. It's very quick. Once you've got a sound you like, off you go. Let's go back to the Krusty Pie. Let's have here's the FM, here's another example, same thing, just the FM unit in here. This was the original. Turn that off, sorry, I haven't got it playing. Here we go. Here's the original tone you get in DSFM, and here's what you can make with it. And then combined, you have your instrument, you have your sends, your reverb, your delay. Everything's controllable from here. One final thing as well. On the submix, compressor, limiter. You want to capture a loop? Off you go. So you can play around, use it as a drum machine, capture ideas, etc. Okay, so let's have a look how one of these channels is built, because they simply repeat themselves. Once you've built one, you can just copy and paste them over. It goes very quickly. So we've got a new session of Ableton open. Just recording here on this channel, so we can ignore that. Just recording audio for this video. We have a reverb, delay is standard. The first thing we need to open, let's put a new audio track in here. We'll name this Submix. And the next thing we want to do is put a drum rack in, and we'll set up one of the instruments. You get the idea of how it works. Let's go to Instruments, Drum Rack, pop that in here, move that in front of the Submix. There we go. So drum rack allows us to drop our synth of choice in. We'll take the kick on this one here. We'll now rename this to kick. We can open up with this button here our macros, 16 of them. We also need to put our effects in with the kick. So we had audio effects, EQ3 we had in here. Drop that just there. We also had the bus, drum bus, here we drop that in there. And that's everything. So these are the components of each of the channels. The only thing we switch out is the instrument effectively. So let's map these up quickly, give you an idea. So just match the pitch here. We don't need the overdrive because we have overdrive in the drum bus, but we'll take the attack of the kick. We will take the overtone, a click you can add to the drum sound, decay, envelope, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't need the volume because we will be able to control that over the fader. For the drum bus, we'll take the drive. We'll take the settings for the drive type. The trim allows us to control the level of the incoming audio. We'll map that. Compressor, on and off switch, crunch, damp, transients, boom, frequency, and finally the decay. Now, typically I would rename these. I'd have do one as an example. Kick, pitch. So I know that it's dealing with the kick itself and not with the drum rack. We can rename this as well to kick and turn off the mapping. Now, here we can click here just below the minus. We have our variants. So that's it. We've set it up. We can close this up. Now we don't need this. We have control over these instruments and effects via the macros now. The next thing we need is somewhere to put notes in. So we go up to the kick, right click, empty MIDI click. That then opens this up for us. What we want, in fact, is to click here again. And if we click on this arrow now, hopefully, yes, this one here toggles between clip view. And so we get a nice overview of everything. We have the channel. We have the clips and the instrument for the channel. So we could now just have a look. Let's close that for 1 second. Just make sure. Yes, we need to set this up. So audio no longer goes to the main. We need to select here the submix, this channel here. Now the audio is coming in. We need to switch on our monitor so we can hear the audio coming through. The submix, we need to put some effects on. We need the compressor. In my case, I'm using the glue compressor. We have a limiter, so you never know what's going to happen. Some of the volume levels, and finally I have the looper. Let me just set up the compressor very quickly. At a threshold around about 16, I believe. There we go, and the makeup was about 6. And I'll leave the rest of the settings as they are. Okay, so the looper we can also set up quickly. It's very easy. You need to select number of bars, 4 bars. Click this to enable playback of the loop once it's been captured, along with this here, record, overdub, stop. Those two are important. And we'll set the global quant to 1 bar. So this is all set up now. The sends are automatically set up when you open a new session, but you might want to tweak your reverb however you like it. What have we got here? Decay. That's not too bad. Right, and also the delay for A and B. So these are controlled here through A and B sends for the channel. We can send the reverb or we can send the delay. Now, let's just have a look. Click down here again. Just press B to get the pencil up, and let's have a listen to see if that channel is working. There we go. Sound coming through. And now we can manipulate for as long as we want. Close this here. Okay, so I don't think we need to listen to that forever. The next step would be to simply select here. Maybe we can, yeah, we'll take the pattern with us. Select here, and we can either duplicate, or in my case it's Command C. I'm on Mac, Control C, and then V, Control V or Command V, and paste that across. Then we've got our 4 channels. They're duplicates, so the submix is all set up. They're going into our submix here. Do we set any setting? We might want to just generally turn the submix down, maybe 6 decibels. You can see the value in the bottom corner down here. Adjust that. The limiter controls the output, so we're okay there. And maybe we'll just set this up. We don't want 2 kicks. We can delete this and put in snare. Rename this snare. We now have to go back into our mapping and reassign the snare parameters that we wish to use. These 2 you set up, I'll delete them now, but you'd set them up exactly like this. Put in whatever instrument you want to use, and then just play away. Okay, thank you for watching. My name's Andrew. As always, I hope this is useful for somebody. Thanks for popping by. Have fun with it, I guess. Take care.